Some DJs build a vibe, some DJs build a following, but very few build an entire ecosystem. In today's episode, and over the next few months, we dive into the story of a man who's done it all. From spinning cassettes in a Mangalorean bar, to curating Coldplay's warm-up set, to being the first ever DJ to rock a cricket stadium at IPL Season 1. He's not just a DJ, he's a mentor, a builder, a connector, and a flag bearer of open format excellence before it was even a buzzword. He's the founder of the Music School, a DJ and production academy that's shaped over 700 artists. He's performed at stadiums, beaches, rooftops, and weddings, sometimes in the same week. And he's lived the evolution of this industry, vinyl to USB, local bar to world stage, solo hustler to ecosystem leader. So whether you're a young DJ tuning in from your bedroom setup, or someone who's danced to Kala Chashma at an IPL match and thought, wait, who's playing that right now? This one's for you. This is the beginning of a 5-part deep dive into the legacy, mindset, and music of one of Indian nightlife's most consistent forces. Ladies and gents, this is DJ Clement D'Souza. Welcome to the Vic Fix.
Thanks, Vic. I didn't realize the introduction could be such, I wouldn't say lengthy one, but you actually took me back from where I started and slowly brought me to where I am. I think few things even I forgot.
And I think we are still run short of words because there's so many more things which we will cover over this 5-part series that we are looking for. But it's such an honor to have you on the Vic Fix because again, you are one of the most requested artists, who our viewers have consistently reached out and said that when are you getting Clement? When are you?
I've been telling you from so long, Vic, let's do an interview. You're just not giving me time, yeah. Sachi, I tell you, these guys, when they become famous.
I think it's easier to get Vijay Malia's time than your time because you're consistently traveling. And we are very happy about that, because you represent Bangalore, you represent India on a global platform. And every time you are out there, whatever you post, we get a slight insight into what's happening into the Clement's world. And we know that as busy as you are, we are very happy that you're representing us on a global stage.
Thank you so much.
So take us back to 1997. What was your life like before DJing? Okay. And what was that first moment which flipped the switch for you?
It was a very challenging life for me. I don't come from a music background family. Come from a very simple Mangalorean family that where my father was separated from my mother. I was being raised by family members, not even my mother. My mother was working abroad until she passed away, and it was at a very young age. Young age means I was 11 until all these things happened, and then from 11 to the age of 20, it was survival. So it was from school to I barely even stepped into college and I exited, because by then life was really rough. So for me, I could not afford to, from paying fees to even concentration was not there because I just had to do a lot of other things to survive. So education for me was something I could not focus on. And because me studying was not paying me. I had to do things that would pay me. So I was involved in all kinds of things. I was serving as a waiter. I was washing dishes, all of these things. Until one fine day, I met some friends. We went to a nightclub. I was not a very big fan of going to a nightclub because as a child, I remember whatever movies would come on TV, but वो ज़माने में मालूम है channels भी बहुत restricted थे.
Correct.
There was only a Doordarshan or something like that. We were very fortunate enough once in a way to see some movies on VCR. I don't know if you know the video cassette. Yeah. So it mostly used to be Hindi movies.
Yeah.
So उसमें यार they're only showing in a nightclub nothing good is happening.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. There's always a rosy dancing. It has to be one girl with a cross, and by the end of the song there is gun firing, there's something.
Yeah.
So, we were always it's not a good place to be at. So, again, long story short, one fine day I ended up going to a nightclub. I was something about that night just made me feel in comfort.
Okay.
Then my day life was fucked up. It was harsh. The night was something that I thought was evil.
Right.
It was like, wow, peace. I'm standing in a nightclub, empty, because I met the DJs first, and then slowly it starts filling up. Then at one point of time, at about 1:32 in the night, it's fully packed. People are raving, raging, dancing, drinking, and all of that. Uske beach mein main khada hu. And I'm glad, whatever happened, it happened in a city like Bombay, because Bombay teaches you, man.
Of course.
I'm not even kidding. Like Bombay, I was a very innocent child that spent some years of my life in Bangalore and came to Bombay.
Right.
So, I mean, I was a guest in a nightlife until one fortunate night for myself. I just got lucky. The DJs over there had some argument and they walked out. And since I was like a regular over there, friends with them and all of that stuff, I continued to play the next song. So I used to watch these guys कि ये क्या करते हैं, CD pull out करते हैं, कौन सा CD कहाँ, there was like a station made
shelf.
Yeah, shelf. So I used to see.
Right.
So early part of the night, these guys would play. They would play albums of Bob Marley, Sting,
right?
All that.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned independent artist.
Got it.
Yeah, and then later on it got into dance music. There were two simple CD players, Sony CD players, that told the DJs would start with elapsed time. And once the track would play, they would put on remain time.
Remaining time, yeah.
So I saw remain time 54 seconds.
Yeah.
So, and these guys are like, wow, where have they gone? Unke beech mein kuch hua. So I went in, and every day I was there. So I went and took the next song. Now this was somewhere at about 1 past in the night, and the GM of the place came and like, तू भोसड़ी के मेरे क्लब में क्या डीजे कंसोल में क्या कर रहा है but not like just generally like the way of talking over there. I said sir ये दोनों तो बाहर चले गए, अभी गाना खत्म हो रहा था तो मैंने दूसरा गाना डाल दिया. ठीक है, तू एक दो गाना देख, मैं देख के आता हूँ इनको. That's how the lingo in Bombay is. He walked out to get them back at about maybe 1 something. Next thing it's 6 in the morning. And I was just playing. And then he came like, मैं गया था बाहर, ये लोग का झगड़ा हो गया, रिक्शा में बैठ के निकल गए, तू चल रहा था, तेरा चल रहा था, मैं बोला चलने दे. So and that's how कल से काम पे आना, he said. And buddy, I just knew, like I just used to observe these guys. I was not a professional or anything like that. So that's how it took off. That's how it started.
Got it.
ये लंबी स्टोरी है. मुझे नहीं पता आप मुझे कितने सास बहू जैसे एपिसोड्स देते जाओगे तो मैं फैला सकता हूँ, but I think we'll stick to this.
So moving from there on, so that was your first residency, if I get it
first right. Residency. That was my first residency, and that was my first learning. And just shortly after I got that job, and for the first time I heard something like तेरा पगार 2000 रुपया महीने का. Work was every day, 7 days a week.
This was 97.
This was in 97, late 97.
Late 97.
And for me, 2000 rupees salary, I was like, man, I used to go there at 7 o'clock in the night, evening. Basically, the first client or the first customer would walk in only at about 12.
Right.
It was a late night place. It was a typical Bombay, they say that underground life, right? That kind of a club. So until then, I would now start listening to music.
Got it.
I had to listen to music, practice all of these things.
Yeah.
And I used to see these DJs play pause, play pause, play pause, play pause. So I understood like they were trying to come close to a part of the song, which we call queuing today.
Yeah.
So wo sab chal raha
They were
tha.
putting mental timestamps on which word song.
It was. I'm telling you what a human mind is capable of.
Absolutely.
It's phenomenal. And today, I mean, life has simplified.
Right.
But obviously, it's for you to be complicated even more.
So, moving across, you started off with a lot of Bob Marley and Sting and all of that, right? And then, how did your first brush with Bollywood music happen?
I was very fortunate to get a job under DJ Akbar Sami, what he was in the 90s and what he was in the early 2000s, something else. Now it's only grown, na? So it's like we are a drop in the ocean kind of a thing. But उस ज़माने में कम थे, clubs कम थे, DJs were very selective. In Bombay there was an Akbar Akhtar, Chris Correa, like there were selective names.
Got it.
Like popular ones.
Right.
So Akbar was one big name, and when I used to go out, was familiarized more with watching this man.
Yeah.
You know, so one day, whatever this job by fluke that I got was in another club. So Akbar used to come to this club because
Okay.
after he would finish wherever, this was the only club that used to be open till like 9 in the morning. People used to walk out and get a sunstroke. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. You know, it was like that. So that's where I think he heard me, and once then that club shut down. So one of the nights again, I now started partying again. So I
Right.
went to a club that he was, he had a contract, and I met him. So he was like, "Your club is shut. What are you doing now?" I said, "I'm waiting for you to tell me what to do." So he's like, "Join me." So I got an opportunity to work under him in a club called Avalon.
Right.
Now, Avalon was known, again, it was a very, very banging nightclub, superb sound system. All of Bombay would be coming over there because, again, it would be open till 5, 6, 7 in the morning, you know. And being under Akbar was a great thing because that place was fully filled with international music. Akbar used to get possibly some of the most finest records over there. At that time, clubs used to invest in music.
Absolutely.
They used to buy music.
Right.
You were responsible to look after that music and play that music well. You know, every day there was a counting of the CDs and all that happening. Our night only would start with like taking a CD.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
like it was like that was a habit. This place had superb music. So I started really getting more intrigued about learning. There were turntables, ये वो सब कुछ था. So I was very fortunate कि ready-made सब था. मुझे मेरे तरफ से इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना था ना, तो मैं सीख रहा था. उधर और भी 2-4 लोग थे जिनके साथ मैं काम कर रहा था. So one day there was this guy, and I think I used to, because the way my background was, I was a little short-tempered. Well, I wouldn't say little, I was very short-tempered. तो ये 2-4 बार आया कंसोल में, और उस वक्त ये शायद अकबर का ही रीमिक्स था, होगा तुमसे प्यारा कौन. You know, वो घड़ी घड़ी आके वही मांग रहे हैं, होगा तुमसे प्यारा कौन. तो मैंने उसको पलट के कुछ एक उल्टा जवाब दे दिया. तो भाई नेक्स्ट सेकेंड आई एम प्लेइंग वन रिकॉर्ड एंड आई कैन, तो शीशे का कैबिन था, सामने से आई कैन सी मैनेजर, मैनेजमेंट, जीएम, वीएम सब भाग के आ रहे हैं कंसोल की तरफ. तो मैं भी बैठे देखो तो ये भाई मेरे बाजू में खड़े होके मेरे कनपट्टी पे पीछे उसने बंदूक रख दिया है और मेरा ध्यान भी नहीं है, मैं बजा रहा हूँ. यू नो, so this management, and I basically, again, for whatever I was going through or gone through, I was fearless. तो मैं उसको मुड़ के देखा, क्या हो गया, बजा रहा है कि डालू तेरे को. तो मैंने उसको पकड़ के डालना. You know what I mean? Like being, I don't know whether it was being stupid,
right,
or you know what I mean? Because there are incidents where these Bombay had an underground nightlife, like typically from gang to music. तो उस वक्त जीएम पागल हो गया, क्या चूतिया हो गया, निकल कंसोल से, ये वो सब. यू नो, दैट इज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई फेल्ट प्रेशर्ड.
Got it.
You know, and I was like, यार ये असली में होता है यार नाइट क्लब में. You know, इतना भी प्यारा नहीं है नाइट क्लब. So that's when you know, then I started learning कि यार you have to bow down to some of these kind of people. Right. And Bollywood was not like a taboo or anything, but we just loved playing international dance music. We DJs who were playing in these clubs where international records सब पड़े, we would not give Bollywood that much भाव. You know, like यार चल रहने दे साइड में टाइप से. Right. बात सब हम हिंदी में ही कर रहे हैं, लेकिन बजाना नहीं है. You know what I mean? ना वैसे था. तो फिर मुझे ऐसा लगा कि यार ये प्रेशर वाला सिचुएशन है. But it was, Bollywood was nothing new to me. And then I got a break to come to Bangalore. This city was a fucking laid back city. Yeah. And we came from a very hardcore street life, street smart, hyper, on the go. All the time, like on the go, pushing dhakka vakka, ye wo sab. Landed here Jan 7th, 1998. Okay. I remember the date. We were put up in Barton Center, which is 13th floor. Yes. Those were rooms. Yeah. तो मैं 8 बजे नीचे उतरा, देखा तो यार कुत्ता भी नहीं रास्ते पे. It's called MG Road. मैं मेरे कलीग को पूछ रहा हूँ, भाई हम ये कहाँ आ गए, है ना. तो बोल रहा है कि यार वो जो वहां सिग्नल दिख रहा है ना, उधर राइट साइड पे एक और रोड है, ब्रिगेड रोड. एवरीथिंग इज ओवर देयर. I said okay. So when we reached that corner, we saw some traffic movement. I was like, okay, this is like that Lokhandwala lane. I went to some fantastic pubs in Bangalore, heard some very good rock music. The pubs were about rock music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then nightlife at one point comes to a halt in the city.
Yeah.
Then you book a auto rickshaw to go to a place called
Mysore
D
Road.
Club.
Yeah.
उधर एक क्लब हुआ है इन्फर्नो, मगर हम उसको दी क्लब भी बोलते थे. तो पहले बार तो जेम्स बोला अभी दी क्लब जाएंगे, यू नो, एंड इट वाज अ थर्सडे नाइट और समथिंग, हिप हॉप नाइट कुछ.
करेक्ट.
तो वो रिक्शा वाले को पूछा दी क्लब, हाँ 500 रुपीज. मतलब 598 500 रुपीज. मैं बोला यार बैंगलोर टू बॉम्बे बस का भाड़ा 300 रुपया है, तू 500 रुपीज में का पुणे तक छोड़ रहा है क्या? तो बोलते हैं, तो देन जेम्स टोल्ड मी इधर ऐसा ही चलता है, ठीक है, इधर ये रिटर्न भाड़ा है और वो रिक्शा वाला रुकेगा तुम्हारे लिए और तुम जब भी निकलोगे 2 घंटा 3 घंटा 4 घंटा बाद वही रिक्शा आपको घर छोड़ेगा. मैं बोला लेकिन मैंने 500 रुपया यार, यू नो, बॉम्बे में हम लोग 4 चक्कर मारने के बाद भी ना 500 रुपए का बिल नहीं आएगा. तो मैं बोला इधर ऐसे ही है, ठीक है. तो यार देन वी एंटर्ड इन्फर्नो एंड गया तो अभी, यू नो, वी वर ड्रिंकिंग, दारू पीने वाले दिन. मैं गया तो देखा तो थोड़ा खाली खाली सा था. कुछ लोग नाच रहे थे, डीजे अच्छा, he was playing some great R&B hip hop. And it was just getting busy. James said, this is the time when everybody starts coming in.
Walking in. Right.
You know, yeah, I said, okay, chal, meantime, let's get drunk. So we went to the bar and said, 2 beers. He said, coupons. मतलब coupons? समोसा नहीं खरीदना है यार स्कूल में, बियर चाहिए. तो बोला कूपन. मतलब भेंटचोद कौन कूपन? तो ही पॉइंटेड आउट टुवर्ड्स वन कॉर्नर, उधर एक जगह पे एक बैठा है, एक लाइट डाल के वो कूपन बेच रहा है. मैं बोला ओ फक, असली में कूपन लेके आना है. फक, उसको इतना दूर क्यों बिठाया, इधर ही बिठाना चाहिए था ना. तो गए, उसको बोला 2 बियर, 2 बियर्स. सो ही टोर समथिंग, ही सेड 150 रुपीस. मतलब 150 रुपीस. आई सेड 2 बियर्स. So he looked again, 150 rupees. I said, not 2 glass, 2 full beers. Hey, could never 150 rupees. You fucking pissed off, like, no. मैं सोच रहा हूँ इतना सस्ता. What the fuck? How can 2 beers, एक beer मतलब 75 rupees? And boss, I mean in Bombay those days a beer was minimum 150, 300 rupees, you know.
Right.
I was like, holy fuck, this is cheap ass, dude. तो मैं, you know, coming from Bombay, thinking that a little over smartness, I'm telling James, boss, club is empty na right now. That's why they are selling cheap. बाद में बढ़ाएंगे. I said, give 4 beers. ठीक है, 4 beer लिया. अभी 4 beer, they don't give the bottle. They poured in, they had their iconic plastic cups. Suddenly we have 8 glasses. हम लोग, oh shit, ये इतना सारा बियर का एक साथ क्या करेंगे? Oh God. फिर you know, it was like a mezzanine, तो ऊपर का लेवल पे उधर पीछे एक जगह उन्होंने बनाया था ग्लास रखने के लिए. तो we kept some glasses over there and James and me are sipping and looking and slowly the crowd is filling. ये nice, you know, young chicks, ये वो सब. We turn back, all the glasses gull. Oh fuck. I was like, what? ये तो बॉम्बे का ट्रेन जैसा हुआ, you know. वॉलेट निकाल के चले गए, बियर का ग्लास उड़ा के चले गए यार. वो भी खाली फुकट का. मैं ओवर छाना बनने गया, इतना 8 ग्लास मिला, 2 ही ग्लास पिया, 6 ग्लास गुल. तो it was lot of culture changes over here, you know. And my God, the highlight of the night was the music. Now it picked up. This was a hip hop night, and we used to long to play hip hop in Bombay. The only few tracks we could play, Return of the Mac, blah blah blah. उसके बाद ए अंकल आया, होगा तुमसे प्यारा कौन. So there was no escape.
Right.
You know, from 11:30, 12 onwards, till morning 5.
They would stick and they would play.
It was only R&B hip hop, and oh my God, the people grooving slow. It's not house, nothing. It's just grooving. And then I started learning the city. You know, it was like students and people coming here from different parts of the world, especially like America, and medical students, ये वो सब. तो वो अपना music लेके आते थे. And this city had a different taste in music. You know, I used to get so confused because everybody in the night at the club
Yeah.
would be like baggy pants and loose t-shirts and yeah, oh man,
Yeah.
din mein mila to ye Malleshwaram se nikla,
Ah.
you know. I was like, holy fuck, dude, I thought you were from fucking California, you know. And you won't believe, I was the only guy who possibly started talking in Hindi to everybody, because you know, मैं mostly Hindi बात कर रहा हूँ Bombay से. So when I started talking in Hindi, people used to walk 3 steps behind.
Yeah.
Here Hindi was
I know. Yeah, correct.
But you know, then slowly, my good friends, Vachan and all these guys who, man, what, none of them knew even a word of Hindi. I only had one good friend who I would stay with called Faisal. This guy spoke proper and like very typical Bombay Hindi.
Right.
So I was so much in peace ki ek to hai sala. But then slowly Vachan and everybody, Bobby,
They
ye
all
wo
picked
sab,
up.
sab log Hindi baat karne chalo ho gaya. Then when we also became very thick, you know, like there was no community here.
Of course.
Holy fuck. Like I'm talking about, like if there's an Ivan, it's an Ivan. You know?
Yeah.
Then there was Ashley from the club. Then there was, I heard there was a team of 3 DJs. Asad Namazi, Arjun Wagle, Sean. They had one team. Vachan, the dude, had come from Mysore.
Yeah.
One hunky looking, you know, chunky boy.
Yeah.
Everybody's in love with him. A lot of people are jealous of him. So there was just,
They're all
only,
pockets.
Here the match was only divided. There was no like coming together, you know.
Yeah.
But then I felt somewhere after I came also, like build a bond around everyone. You know, became friends with everyone.
Yeah.
And then slowly there was a community. And today I feel Bangalore has it's only communities.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many communities, like different communities of DJs.
Yeah.
You know?
So when you landed in Bangalore, what was your DJ identity? Were you the retro guy? Were you the Bollywood guy? Were you the house guy?
I didn't have an identity firstly. Here I was sent to play at a club that when I saw the club, it was like, I've never seen anything of that sort as a nightclub. It was one massive hangar looking thing. I was working with another colleague of mine who you recently interviewed, Cletus.
Yeah.
He was the local Bangalorean. And James, another friend of mine who was here before me. And then I came in. And then here, I was really looking forward to come to Bangalore, because, you know, the one person being in Bombay that we met and that we started looking up to, and that was creating a revolution and reputation and, you know, building a style and vibe and all of that, was this name Ivan. You know, he had come to Bombay from Bangalore. There was a club called 3 Flights Up, which he was a resident. He designed the console. He designed the sound system with a very big sound professional there called Roger. Humko bhi, we also wanted to learn and know and all of these things, being in a nightclub. So there was so much to learn from this guy, you know. First of all, he, you know, even though we just started, but we were drinking and all that. So ये बंदा पीता नहीं है, ये सिगरेट नहीं फूकता है, ये कुछ नहीं करता है, इसका फोकस सिर्फ म्यूजिक है. इसको आप कोई भी अगर मतलब you ask him about any track, he knows the year of the release, the month of the release. So he made a lot of difference for me to want to leave Bombay and come to Bangalore, because he spoke a lot of Bangalore, how the music over the year works, and to listen to what he was playing, we knew कि मतलब ये अगर ये Bombay में ऐसा बजा रहा है तो ये Bangalore में भी बजाता होगा. So that's when I came here, it was a completely different world altogether. UFO was this club that 2 or 3 guys came together. One was a professional sound guy, Davis. Other one was Murli, who was the structure. And I can't recollect, but Davis was the guy, because for us, it was about sound and lights.
Right.
So when I was in Bombay, I was being told, you are going to the world's possibly best sound system place. Davis. The name Davis. मैंने उसका दिमाग में painting बनाने चालू कर दिया, you know. My God, fucking Davis, tall, holy fuck, long hair, yeah, fucking fair, you know, must, you know, super good looking, like, headbanger, like, nose. I drew a fucking super sexy cowboy picture in my mind about this Davis dude. Day one, landed and went to Barton Center, felt like, wow, 5-star, mein rehne mil raha hai. Suddenly, somebody rang the bell and opened the door, and this guy said, hi, Clement? Yeah, I said, yeah, Clement. My name is Charles. I said, okay, Charles. I'm Davis's brother. Well, which Davis? Davis, sir. Sound Davis. I looked at Charles. I wiped my whole picture off. मैं बोला तू ऐसा दिखता है तो डेविस कैसा दिखता रहेगा? You know, Davis was this normal South Indian man. I mean, that's about it. But when you talk about sound, the guy's intelligence in sound, not even kidding, boss. It was the best sound system I ever played in my life.
Absolutely. He's a trendsetter in more ways than one in the Bangalore soundscape.
And he was a big fan of Ivan and Akbar and all of these. He looked up to those guys to a different level.
Yeah.
His expectancy of me also, or Cletus or whatever it is, the same.
Yeah.
Look at Akbar.
Right.
Now I am 20 years old. When I'm talking on the mic, I cannot sound like Akbar. I cannot sound like Ivan. Have you heard Ivan on the mic? Have you heard Akbar on the mic? They know how to sound good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ivan, on the other hand, whenever he comes, he does half an hour ka sound check is only on the mic. 6, 8, 10, 6, 8, 4, 1, 6, 2. मैं बोला यार ये मैथ्स क्लास चालू है क्या? आधा घंटा खाली भाई 6, 4, 8, 5, 6 मिनट चेक है वो फक फिर जाके उसका रिकॉर्ड प्लेस करके करता था. That's when we learned sound check.
Yeah.
We coming from Bombay, Ghanta, we know about fucking sound check. We didn't even have anything called a monitor. The only monitor we knew was in the class. Fuck. Yeah, there were 4 Bose 802s per side.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is an entire 2-club setup. Where's the main sound system? Some fucking 8 bins per side or 16 bins.
Yeah,
I don't know the exact number, but
8 bins per side.
It started with 8, then he doubled it.
Okay.
Then he doubled it and he bought the console in the middle. Boss, we had 4 802s next to us.
Yes.
But the sound of that speaker outside, the main speaker, would reach our ears quicker, louder.
Yeah.
So we had to really blast
this up.
It was a different experience, man. Bangalore, like it was on a different level for me.
Right.
And I started getting popular here because there was one championship war of the DJs, international war of the DJs that happened. And in no rating, 3 of them were chosen as winners from Bangalore that go to Bombay.
Okay.
Ivan, this resident DJ of the club called Ashley, and myself.
Okay.
Everybody knew Ivan.
Yeah. Right.
He's the godfather. उसका जो सिखाया हुआ है वो Ashley, because now he was the ruler of the club. ये Clement कौन है बहन जो suddenly आया है? Where the fuck is this guy come from? So that's how that inquisitiveness started. Articles in the newspaper were coming. And our hangout was with Cletus at a coffee day in the evenings on Brigade Road. So people started recognizing and I started feeling like, wow, Bombay में तो बहन चोद मेरा नाम pamphlet पे भी नहीं आता था. यहाँ तो hoarding पे आ गया. You know what I mean? It was like wow, and it just made me feel like boss. But
of course, you played a good set as well.
I think so.
I think so. Right? You never talk about this.
No. Look, firstly, I need to tell you that was international turntablism based championships. I don't think any one of us for that year in the entire country even performed 5% of what happens internationally. I'll tell you straight up. Even 5%. When Viscraft sent us the videotapes of the awards and the previous DJs who are winners, and when we put those cassettes and saw it, because they were like, watch this and make a routine.
Got it.
Reference के लिए उन्होंने हमको
समझ गया.
उस ज़माने में YouTube नहीं था ना.
Right.
So they sent us cassettes. Believe me, Vachan and myself, we put the tape and we sat and saw the tape after that for about at least a week. We didn't know whether we can tell anyone professionally we are DJs. We felt like chutias. You know what I mean? Like there's a different skill. We just got lucky. Whatever we did, we were slightly. No DJ in this country was up to that mark on the first year. No chance.
Yeah.
It was from the first year to the second year that then people in India started getting fully into it.
Got it.
Gustaving. Because turntablism is a different skill. वो ज़माने में tagline भी DJs don't share needles. ये वो सब हुआ करता था, you know. And it was an expensive affair.
Exactly.
You cannot, if your record is scratched, there's no fixing it.
Correct.
If your needle is broken, that's another cost.
Yeah.
And it's not like a retail store over here. We can go and buy another needle. You know, it has to come from some jugad to another country.
Yeah.
Closest was, I think, Singapore. You know, it was like that. So it was easy for us. But hats off to all the DJs from the very first year of DMC to the next year. The way it grew, the way they started putting effort, the way the game changed.
Yeah.
Second, third year, I could proudly tell India started getting some turntablist DJs.
Superb.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
For whatever good luck of mine, I won 3 years back to back in a row of the DMCs over here. My intention was only one thing, Vicky.
Yeah.
Finals are happening in Bombay. Where is Clement from? Bombay. एक फुक्कट का टिकट मिल रहा है बॉम्बे जाके आने के लिए. आई वांट दैट. मुझे बॉम्बे जाना है, दोस्तों से मिलना है, वापस आना है. आई डिडंट केयर टू विन फॉर द नंबर 1.
नहीं, बट 3 साल आपने बैक टू बैक जीता है, तो आपने भी फिर दम लगा के प्रैक्टिस किया.
यार जो किया वो किया. और जो भी किया, इट्स नॉट लाइक यू नो मेरी पहचान की वजह से आई हैव गॉट द अवार्ड. फॉर व्हाटएवर रीजन आई वाज वन ऑफ द 3. You know, and there was always in no roll call, like no number 1, number 2, number 3. It was just flat, you know.
Right.
So that's why the first year made the biggest impact, because Bangalore only knew few names. For my name to pop up as coming out of nowhere, it made a lot of difference for me. Right. I got a lot of hate for it. I got a lot of love for it. But then, you know, for me, I made some very fantastic friends by then over here. And that's what I had a rough background from Bombay. I didn't want to go back to Bombay. I wanted to just go there, come back.
Got it.
You know, I was more at peace here. I was more at, like, I was putting on weight. I was eating good food. I was drinking good beer. I was making nice friends. I was meeting nice chicks. You know, I was getting laid. सब कुछ हो रहा था. बॉम्बे में कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा था. पगार भी नहीं मिल रहा था. You know, भीख मांग के काम पे जाना पड़ रहा था. Fuck that. मैं बोला, I want to stay in Bangalore.
So at this point of time, Bangalore started feeling like home.
Bangalore started feeling like home. I started creating a name for myself. I started, and Bangalore was so easy that the very first week I went out 3 times and I knew all of Bangalore. Bangalore was small.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas Bombay, on the other hand, is a different ballgame altogether.
Right.
Bangalore, I swear to God, the second week that I was out, I knew everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. Same people, you know, from Black Cadillac, time and again.
They had a very small, close-knit community.
Everything. Yeah. And the same, like the students, everything ended. There was very limited options.
Correct.
You know, the choices, sab kuch, and finale, until UFO was there, it was partitioned into some people come into UFO and some people go into D Club.
Right.
But UFO shot, it was just D Club.
Yeah.
So it was our adda, you know. So that's where everybody was hanging out, everybody was meeting.
Yeah.
And man, that man Nasir Bhai, he's passed away, but he's left a legacy behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Davis, I have not met him in a long time, but he taught us what sound is. He taught us what light is. How both of them combined together create the vibe. DJ is not complete just by playing music. It's not. You need all of these substances
to
together.
Create a complete experience.
Oh my God. And today, you know, Vicky, how you are. I should tell you also, buddy, that you have done fantastic. I don't have the best words, but like you have done very well for yourself. I know you come from a corporate background. You pursued this for some liking towards music, like many others do.
Yeah.
But many others somewhere, kahin na kahin, you know, they remain stagnant. But I remember using your help and getting to know you from 5-6 years back to how, you know, you are being so helpful as far as, you know, my technically challenged self, how much you have helped me and our friendship as well grew. So I really thank you for that, to be very honest with you, you know, because it really matters a lot. मेरे साथ ये हुआ है कि, you know, initially lot of people had a lot of judgments to make about me because look, I had nothing. You know, I had to survive. So I would ask you,
Yeah.
I would steal, I would
Yeah.
do whatever the fuck
Yeah.
as long as I did it. So I know there have been people who have spoken about me. There are people possibly even now they talk about me. But back then it used to affect me. Now it does not. At a certain time you are kind of you have no choice at that age.
Right.
You have no choice.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like that. But now today I have a choice.
Yes.
It's like that. So I really want to tell you firstly, ये interview अगर आप करते हो वो तो सही है यार. देखो, we have to keep doing things to kind of be visible in the market. But for you, I would tell you, I'm so proud of you that you quit your mainstream to pursue this, because you're not stupid as well, right? Like, because I tell everybody today you need to have a plan B, plan C. But now you are sorted, man. Like, I feel एक time था कि nobody thought we could be survivors. That we could own a bike, we could own a car, we could own an apartment, we could have a family.
You're right.
Nobody thought. They thought
You're
we are
right.
fucking DJs. ये दारू पीता है, drugs करता है, ये don't talk to
Of
him.
course.
ऐसा ही था.
Of course.
And then now after so many years, that I think it's one of the highest paid professions. Okay.
You're absolutely right, and very honestly, that's one of the reasons that I got into this.
No, but that's why you have surprised me a lot, because you know what, like DJ podcast. Sometimes what happens is, if you're doing it with the DJs, so आपका podcast is based only on DJs. If you're doing it with singers, it's based only on singers.
Right.
Even based on you are mixing and matching a lot of
so
things.
my focus is on Bangalore night.
Right. And because of a slightly hectic schedule of late, I was only seeing the posts that you're putting. Okay, you have done it with this guy.
Yeah.
And then just recently, I was driving from Goa to Bangalore.
Right.
And I was driving with one of the boys who works with me in school. So I halfway through, I was like, "Fuck this music, man! Vicky का podcast चालू करते हैं." सुनते हैं, so this boy like, मगर YouTube पे ना, मैं बोला देखना क्या है, बंदे को तो हम लोग देख चुके हैं ना, अभी सुनते हैं, मैं तो बोला किसका सुनना है पहले, मैं बोला मुझे क्लीटस का सुनना,
You would have loved that
मुझे क्लीटस का सुनना है, क्योंकि ये भाई को मैं डे 1 से पहचानता हूँ, ठीक है ना, और ये बहुत सिलेक्टिव है अपना रिलेशन के मामले में, बातचीत के मामले में, अप्रोच के मामले में, बहुत रिजर्व्ड आदमी है, कम बात करता है. तो अगर किसी के पॉडकास्ट में बात किया है तो मुझे सुनना है. एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू, इन माय एंटायर फ्रॉम 98 to 2025, I have not heard Cletus at that length, the amount he has spoken in your thing. It was so good to hear him. Even when we worked together, the only challenge would be, he's a fucking tall guy. Davis का pressure होता था, talk on the mic. So, and we were playing sets, na? Like I would play half an hour, he would play half an hour, like that. So every time he came on, he pulled the mic, and then when I go to the mic is there. See, it is easy for a tall guy to bend and talk, correct? Me and of him to keep pulling the, मैं कहाँ से यार घड़ी he's a bloody tall guy. So, but I shared a great vibe with him, because I'll tell you what, it's very difficult for people like these. They get judged when they don't talk much, when they don't mingle much. ये वो सब ना, लेकिन वो टाइम भी वैसे था. We were young and we were like ruthless ना. तो सबका जजमेंट बनता था. मेरा इसके साथ जमता था यार. क्लीटस का और मेरा पहले से जमता था. आज भी हम लोग ऐसा नहीं है कि we call each other or anything like that. But जब भी मिलते हैं ना, बात करते हैं, hang out करते हैं, वो भी खुल के बात करते हैं. तो I wanted to listen to his stuff first. Even though Vachan is a closer friend of mine. I wanted to listen to Vachan later, because I already, like, I know a lot about Vachan, right? Cletus का सुनते हैं, तो I had such a good time, like listening to it, because honestly, in all these years, there is so much about the guy even I didn't know.
Right.
So much I didn't know.
It gave so much perspective and so much depth.
उसका family business, वो क्या करता, dad, ये वो सब कुछ नहीं पता था यार, and that's how I felt shit. Man, we have not really hung out, and it was nice just for me to get to know a little more about him. Then I started listening to some other guests that you had, but I think it makes so much of a difference, like today my hangouts are with certain people only,
right.
obviously you must have heard the name Shine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, इधर ही किधर होगा साला छुप के, you know. तो Shine is there.
हाँ.
वो एक बंदा है जो, how do I say, I have so much, like I don't behave my best with him. I act like a ridiculously arrogant bastard with him, but he is one guy that shamelessly, मतलब यार वो दिल से मेरे को रोज फोन करता है.
हाँ.
दिन में 2 बार भी 3 बार भी फोन करेगा मेरा हाल जानने के लिए. How are you doing? I'm missing you, you know. And फोन रखने के बाद ना मेरे को भी ऐसा लगता है कि यार why did I speak to him like that? But anyway, Shine, don't get carried away. I will still fire you. Then at my school, I have Karthik. Now I have Sai. So there are, you know, it's like whoever you're working around are your immediate family, you know. And there is, Vicky, there is so much to learn each day. The very people that you're sitting with, the very people you're hanging with, there is like every day there is so much to understand, you know. And in today's day and age, everybody misunderstands. First thing, it's easier.
It's easy to
well
do
done,
that.
you know, job well done, misunderstand.
Right.
But to understand, it takes a lot of effort and time. So I start adapting human beings' natures. Matlab, I am correcting myself even today, you know, about my nature, about my attitude, about a lot of things. So I adapt these things. Like if I have to use a Karthik, very simple, shant guy, this, that, but he also has one side to him. काफी लोगों को पता नहीं और ना पता चले तो अच्छा है. But he's a fucking great character, dude. What a nice guy. Then there's Vachan. So then there's my best friend Akhtar. He is my go-to everything. Matlab, I'll tell you whatever the world thinks about our friendship. You know, they think like, oh yeah, these are two like really awesome friends. Yeah, so which we are. Undoubtedly we are. But even though I've gone through so much and understood so many phases of life and all of that stuff, there are so many times I hit rock bottom. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to think. I don't know how to reply. I don't know. I just call him. I just call him and throw the whole situation to him. And he explains things to me. Vicky, that time, we are not two best friends. That time, he is my guru. I am the Shishya. You know, I want to hear him. भले ही मैं बाद में मुड़ के अपना ही कुछ कांड कर दूं. But I want to hear his thought process. I feel in the industry, if in this country, if there's any सुलझा हुआ in your profession, सुलझा हुआ banda, like if anybody is watching this episode also, I feel if you are hitting any segment in your life where you don't know what thought process, what decision to make, you please reach out to this guy, Akhtar. Maybe he'll kill me for saying this because he doesn't have time. Most of the time he's also busy. And the older we get, the more time we want for ourselves. But believe me, this guy, वो दिल से आपको सच्चाई बोलेगा. And there is no like advice with any kind of temperamental or anything. It will be a wise reply to you, you know.
So Clem, so I'd like to talk to you about building a DJ business blueprint, you know, which is, I think, highly essential for anyone who wants to make a career out of this, in which they learn how to manage their money, as well as how they can envision long-term sustainability. So in this regard, when did DJing shift from passion to profession for you?
Look, when it started with a very different reason for me. Then once I got into professional DJing and I was getting a salary, and I started realizing that step by step, it's only getting better. You know, when UFO shut, I met a guy called Bobby. He used to run a place called Rhythms.
Yes, I know Bobby.
Yeah, you know.
Whitehead.
Yeah, man. Possibly one of the world's best human beings also. He started giving me private parties. You know, he was Davis's friend as well. He met me and he's helped a lot of us. So he started giving me private events. So if you talk about Bollywood, na, Bangalore में मेरे लिए वहाँ से चालू हो गया था. Club में I was not known to do this. Club में I was known first for hip hop and retro and all of that stuff. Then I got more into house and all of that. But my versatility was there. I wanted to also experiment and things. So I had to earn.
Correct.
I've left my home and I've come here. I have to earn because I have to pay my rent. I have to feed myself. Bobby came in to help, and Bobby started giving me private parties, and it used to be 1,000, 1,500 per party, and then slowly became 2,000, 2,500. Even today he calls me, and now the price has reached it could be anywhere between 80,000, a lakh and a half,
Yeah.
2 lakhs. It's like that. So I started realizing, boss, this is the job. I have done quite a few jobs before I got into DJing. This is the job that is now progressing with me, bringing me an income. And there was a certain life where I treated it like fun,
Okay.
But then slowly I started phasing out,
Got it.
So that's when I had to pull my horses. I was like, nah, I cannot be doing this guzzling and getting shit faced and all of that stuff. I need to focus. And it's also, I was not liking it,
Right.
I was very conscious if I screwed up something. So for me, how it shifted was like this gradual process. And then I started respecting it. Before that, I didn't realize whether I was respecting it. I was enjoying it. I was like, wow, like I anyway like music mein main baja raha hu, paise bhi mil rahe. It's like that. But then I started respecting it. Then I started respecting the person who's paying me for it. Yeah. I started, like, now I had two sides to me. If I'm playing in a club, you will dance to what I am playing. Yeah. Because the club owner is paying me for my specialty. So I play that set. And it's not even like I can take it for granted. If I'm known for something, like if I'm known for hip hop or house, I better play a good set in that genre. But if I'm doing someone's private party, they are paying me. I'm charging a different fee. They might have certain choices of requirements of genres that they want. And if I can cater, I cater. It is just the attitude I don't like sometimes of people asking, But otherwise, for me, that client is very special because I'm charging 10 times more the amount. And brother, from imagining in my dreams, thinking whether I would be able to even afford a bicycle, not a motorbike, bicycle, to today living a comfortable life, it has come from DJing.
Of course.
So I better be respecting it. Otherwise, it's a dead end. It does not matter. And I also started realizing that as much as fun or whatever I am, there's a side to me that also hurt people. The same fun that Clement is, where someone would laugh, someone would not. Because I've heard that someone to make someone laugh.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started realizing these things. I started accepting it. I started changing myself. And I think it's a very important factor to be a nice human being, no matter what, especially in our professions. In this business itself, in DJing itself, there are so many avenues, so many different aspects you can get into.
Exactly.
You can take over management, you can do music designing, you can start programming. If you are a producer, you can produce for someone. You can take contracts. I have an academy, I provide DJs. You need to be smart to think.
Right.
A lot of them, I feel, they, like, even for us, nobody taught us. It was only when we met a dead end, we found another lane. You know what I mean? It was like that.
Right.
And not everyone from our times are also successful. Some have hit rock bottom and they have fizzled out, and they were great talents. You need to be mindful. You always need to be mindful. You're never going to be successful at every gig. There will be certain gigs that will not go well. You need to learn out of it, not get depressed out of it.
Exactly.
You need to take advices from the right people that you believe in will give you the right advice. Because your best friend will always tell you, you're the best I've ever heard. I always tell the youngsters, don't ask your best friends. Because they are just blindly there to cheer you up. It doesn't matter. They don't know whatever you're doing is right is wrong. From DJing, I started venturing into helping people get talent. Then I started the academy. So I have the school. So it just depends how you treat it as a profession. And what avenues you pick, because see, being a player is not bad at all. Being a coach could be difficult.
Exactly.
So there are very few people who are very good with teaching.
You're right.
And I feel I'm blessed with that thing. I can explain things and break it down into very, very layman terms and different layman terms and all of that stuff. And I've seen some of my friends who are super professional and very good talent, but they cannot be good teachers.
To explaining, you're right.
They cannot be good teachers.
Right.
You will hear everything they said and you'll be like, यार सुनने में अच्छा लगा लेकिन समझा कुछ भी नहीं आया. So and I've been very raw, unfiltered. Now I try to be a little filtered, about the way I am, the way I speak. At least I try, But it is important, Vicky, I feel, to always have a vision.
Yeah.
Education, I think, is very important. Don't give up on your studies just to pursue DJing. Education corrects you in many, many, many forms. I was not fortunate enough to be educated, and I would not say that because of that I am, I've roughed out or whatever. But
Yeah.
it was just an episode in my life that I could not study. Street knowledge helped me a lot to be where I
Absolutely.
am.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you need to be a little bit of both so that you can think. Don't get into your comfort zones. Don't be around people who always butter you up and make you feel like you're the world's best. Because the day something hard comes upon you, they
Yeah.
will not have an answer to
You're
give
right.
you, and you will be like lost. So it's very, very important to find yourself first,
Yeah.
and then you'll find everything else. So whatever that aspect of life might be, whether you want to be a teacher, whether you want to be a producer, and or whatever, wherever
Yeah.
music takes you, you
Yeah.
know, it is very important to be very, very, like, your mind needs to be in a good place for that. We have been all over the place, and then fortunately we have got ourselves
Yes.
back in focus again.
Yes.
You know, now I'm like almost 27, 28 years into my business.
Hmm.
I think possibly in the last 15 years, I would say it kind of changed for me.
Got it. Would you say that starting the music school was a big step towards that?
100%. Like, firstly, I'll tell you, like, the whole intention of starting the school in the beginning was to make money.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
because, like, man, we need a plan B, plan C, to jo bhi hai. You know, it was
Right.
like that. But the more I started getting involved, and now I own the brand myself.
Yes.
The more I started getting involved, I just started realizing, man, it's not just about making money. This is helping someone make money.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
this is also helping choose someone, their career and profession.
Right.
Like, I'm telling you, my students have right now gone out there and they have made such big reputations for themselves, be it girls, be it some of the guys, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Look,
Yeah.
not everybody that passes out from the music school is making
course,
wonders,
of
you know,
course.
because it's not everybody's cup of tea also.
Exactly.
But there are some of them that I'm very, very proud of.
Yeah.
And I am very, very fortunate that I've always had good people work with me, you know.
Right.
And even today, if you come to the music school, you will meet all my faculty. They're very, very simple, down to earth people.
Right.
Even me, when I do workshops and stuff, I
Yeah.
try and I don't get too much into technical, because technical is something you're going to learn irrespectively.
Yeah.
The more you play, the more
Right.
you practice, the more you
Right.
go out there and perform,
Correct.
your technical skills are only going to get better.
You're right. You're right.
But your inner abilities
Absolutely.
is what can
Make
be
you stand
challenging.
out and
Yeah.
shine.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I try and share these episodes with them so that they can understand things better. Imagine like my head of operations right now is Sai.
Yeah.
Sai was comes from a hardcore corporate background. I didn't know about his background.
Right.
He was a student in music school. Sid was a student in music school. You know, all these guys right now, they have created a reputation for themselves in Bangalore, in their own genre, in their own industry,
Right.
from doing their own events to organizing events, and now hosting workshops in the very school that they studied. And I'm sitting somewhere at the comfort, whether I'm in Goa or
Yeah.
somewhere else, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, somebody is carrying on the legacy.
Yeah.
Someone has to, you know,
Yeah.
you're not going to be living for the rest of your life. Genuinely, my advice to anybody getting into this field would be, firstly, don't give up on your education until it is very challenging for you.
Yeah.
That should be your core, you know, because you learn so much out of it. And you will realize the help of education only after you're 40, 45. You know,
Yeah.
you will not realize it
Absolutely.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
You will realize it later.
Right.
You're going to think, boss, I'm not cut for it. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
not cut for it, it's a different thing.
Right.
But otherwise, pursue it. It will really come of use in many, many ways.
Correct.
To
Which
help
you will not realize
shape this
now.
career.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the example is you yourself. I feel like you're educated, your corporate background and all of that today has helped you shape this product that you are delivering.
Yeah.
You know, from your DJing to your podcast to whatever
Yes.
else, you even delivered a baby. You know. But yeah, my advice, you can be successful, you can be everything that you want, but like, if you're not in a good place, if you're not a good person,
Yeah.
there is a replacement.
Yeah.
And in today's day and age, there is an immediate replacement.
Yeah, you're right.
अपना time पे तो फिर भी थोड़ा सा time लगता था.
हाँ.
You know, there was a second chance.
Yeah.
आज की तारीख में it's very tough. So you just learn how to be a good human being. The rest will follow.
Do you ever feel caught between being an artist and being a businessman?
All the time. All the time. I'm a really bad businessman. I feel I'm more of an artist.
Why would you say this?
Because man, I have so much of outstanding in the market. Like it's not even funny. And it's because I'm like I've allowed it to be,
But are you like cutthroat in securing deals, but then you're not cutthroat in following up and closing?
I'm not cutthroat in even cracking a deal. Most of the time, the deals have happened because we have just connected and we have a relationship from the past,
Right.
and they believe in me,
Yeah.
kind of a situation,
Yeah.
and the relationship starts. But somewhere or the other, in our business, how it is when
Yeah.
it comes to payments, there are very, very select DJs and artists that have a management or themselves follow a very strict protocol about the payment.
Right. So if I can dig a little deeper into this, right? So like, okay, so you approach clubs and then you secure the contracts and then you put like your resident DJs in there and then the whole system starts working, and then a couple of months payments start, getting defaulted, and then we send reminders. How quickly do you pull out, before you know that
It's going to damage you.
Yes. Yeah.
So I pushed it till the time I could be damaged a lot.
Right.
And then I somehow bailed out because like I'm a DJ myself.
Yes.
So my earnings say I would support my other business.
Yeah, because if I may add over here, I know that, a lot of the DJs, for whose payments were defaulted by the venues, you ended up paying out of your own pocket.
Yeah, I've been
to the tune of, I mean, I know the number, but if you'd want to say, and it's a huge amount.
Yeah.
It's a massive amount.
No, let's not mention the number.
Okay, so that's how you say that, then you're a bad business.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, just got caught in my own. But yeah. I really, I could be either one. It was like that. But like that's
why. What's the solution to this?
There is no solution. There is like it has to. There is no way in our business that there is anything pakka. You understand, no? It is based on your relation and your time.
If you look at it, it was a perfect ecosystem. You have built the music school, which is able to churn DJs and send out, people as and when it's needed. You're helping the venue shape a certain identity in the market, music-wise, build a repeatability, build a good customer base. And then when it comes to like reclaiming the amount that's supposed to be done, these venues just fail to stand. For me, that was a big step in what could have solved a lot of the problems that you face in Bangalore nightlife today. Because like when you, Ganesh and Sean came together, and Ganesh I think he had a few venues, and then you had the artist base, and everything was a perfect collaboration. It was a good system to work with. But somewhere along the line, like what went wrong?
Look, it starts with slow, and then it just builds up.
Right.
So Ganesh, on that front, I must tell you, like he's quite a smart guy.
Yes.
He's good with numbers.
Yeah.
He brought a lot of awareness to me about how to be a businessman and how to be particular about certain points and all of that stuff. I might have possibly been a certain person for him to learn certain things. But as far as business is concerned, I operate things very differently, and I've built relationships. So for me, I always, I kind of fail. I always give importance to the other person a little more than I should give it to myself.
Right.
So that's where I screw up, first thing.
Right.
Secondly, I try to maintain that relationship. So, when the first time they haven't paid, the first month they haven't paid, and second month they haven't paid, I'm like, kya ho raha hai? And they're like, no, some delay, something. So, by the time it builds up, and I am right now running a company. I'm not an independent guy.
Correct.
I have staff working for me. I have salaries to pay. So there are just certain margins that we are making out of these contracts.
Absolutely.
Also, at the same time, it's not like I'm charging ₹1,00,000 and paying my DJ just 20,000. If I'm charging ₹1,00,000, believe me, the DJ is getting paid 75 to 80. Yeah. After the taxes, I'm left just barely with 5 or 10,000 rupees.
You're right.
Right? Now, to earn that 5 to 10,000 rupees, I have to still pay the DJ the next month also 72,000 rupees.
You're right.
So what have I made?
Right.
That's why of late we recently let go of many contracts.
Yes, I'm aware of this.
We just stopped. Now we are just being in hope that whatever I have paid, I get
Right.
it back, and I have faith that I will get it back, because these people are not bad people.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of the times business has not gone in the right way. We come under the last bracket of payment.
You're right.
First
right.
is their immediate staff that is working on a salary role.
Right.
So they are under a certain contract, and
Yeah.
also our laws are not the best.
Yeah,
for
you're right.
now, if I have to take somebody to court, वो 50,000 के लिए I will be fighting for how long, यार?
हाँ, नहीं,
So that's also
you're
another
right.
thing. And then there's a fear of power.
Yes.
Yeah. All of those things are there. Being independent at this age, I don't want to be beaten up somewhere on the road.
No.
So a lot of things are there. Yeah, a lot of
Right.
things play on your mind. If
Yeah.
I was 20 years back, I would be like, "Fuck you," I would enter some
Yeah.
office. But today, I'm just being good to everybody, and I'm just saying, like, boss, please, whenever you can, just give me a buck. I learned my patience also out of this.
Absolutely.
Because being arrogant means the deal is done, cancelled.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to give you. Get out.
Right.
How many of
Right.
us have payments over there? Until yesterday, they were willing to give you.
Yeah.
But today, because you got pissed off and you said something, okay, now I'm not giving. Now you do what you want.
See, and that is the reason why a lot of DJs don't look at this as a career anymore. Or a lot of good talents have fallen off along the way, especially because of this reason. Having said all this, if you had to consider a different structure for your organization, right, in which you'd have a working CEO, and you would treat this as a completely sales-driven thing, wherein you go and onboard extra clients, with like a certain amount of period before the first payment kicks in. Is that an option that you have started looking at?
So we are slowly going to start a certain method where if a contract comes our way, it is going to be a very, very strong contract where even our side is in favor.
Brilliant.
If you go to see, most of these contracts are not in our favor. There are no such strong points put out there firstly in the contract.
Got it.
You understand? There are no such strong. So you have to draft it only differently, or you have to give them a method instead of rather taking the payment at the end of the beginning of the next month for the previous month. Maybe you can take 50% at the beginning and 50% somewhere in between.
So you have some
so something at least is coming,
Correct.
But otherwise it's an ongoing process, because brother, nobody sits across the table and tells you, boss, I will pay you when I want to pay you. When they're talking to you, they tell you, boss, within the 10th of the month, everybody's payment is cleared. We are not people who hold anybody's. Who has ever told you I'm a bad paymaster? So we are also running on trust and faith and belief only. Ki yaar, ye pay karega. But then there are some DJs who have stuck to the ethics, like a Jasmeet, and like I'm telling you, there are some of the names. Hats off to them. Hats off.
Absolutely.
Like, they have their condition, and it is what it is.
Do you think an approach like that is going to work?
See, it's definitely going to work with some people. Because they want you. They want your talent.
Yes.
That's why you have to be very, very confident about who you are, and you have to build yourself that reputation over there, that there is no replacement for you.
Correct.
If they want you, they want
जो
you.
आप कर रहे हो,
आप नहीं हो तो, you know what I mean? वो होना चाहिए. जब भी वो होगा, तभी ऐसे they will accept it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. This is not an easy profession anymore.
Right.
It is a rat race. It is an amazing profession if you made it. If you make it, if you have the patience, if you're willing to learn, if you're being humble, if you're learning from the right people, if you have the right set of friends around you, you are going to survive for a very long time and you will make it. But if you are not focused about these things, if you're going to lose your plot, and if you don't have a plan for yourself, then it doesn't matter. Like you are just going, every time you get up, there's just a wall in front of you. So it's very, very important to even mentally be very, very stable and think.
And very strong.
Very strong, because you have to be prepared to hear no. And again, like build your relationship so strong that if one fails, something else will work.
Right. What's your 5-year vision? Is it to grow TMS into a national entity, or is it something else entirely?
See, now if you ask me what's your 5-year vision, I have a vision. And, I can possibly just share some parts of it with you, because personally for me, I want to slow down.
Okay.
I want to slow down.
Right.
After 5 years, 7 years, I'm not sure whether I want to travel this much.
Right.
I want to work so hard. I want to set up some things that bring me some income. I want to spend time with my family, quality time, because I'm not getting any younger. I'm just getting older. And whatever life I have left with, I want now different memories out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I have not had family in the past. I've had a different circle. Now I have a family.
Yeah.
So I want to now give my time to that family. I want their time. So I want to now change that for myself. So in 5 years' time, I want to set up whatever it could be. I could be setting up a vada pav stall for all it matters. If it brings me money, I'm going to do that. I could be setting up a supermarket. I could be setting up a medical store. I don't care. But I'm going to do something in 5 years that brings me some revenue where I don't have to work so hard. It's not that I'm not enjoying. I'm enjoying, but my body is not able to handle things like before. You know, I'm being very, very honest. I go do one weekend gig, 2 travels, I come back, I'm fucked. I'm like that. Like body is tired. All of that thing. Mentally not, sleep issues, all of this thing. I want to change that. I want to now focus more on myself, give my time to family. I'm not going to aim for too much. Jitna humko kafi hai, utna because I'm telling you, I'm so happy with whatever is on around me right now, and I want to keep it going like that. So that's my answer. That's my plan.
Let's talk a little bit on the music side. Considering that you're India's top open format DJ, when you shift genres live, when you're playing, is there any set format or protocol that you follow, or you just go with the vibe?
Vibe.
Always.
Look, I have anxiety. Lot of us have it. Yeah. And I strongly try to adapt a nature like Akhtar's, where he's a performer. You know? A Jasmeet, performer. You know, these guys, they go on stage and it's about their body language. Music, I'm not even kidding. There are tracks that they play, I would possibly never in my life imagine playing it. These guys not only play good music, but when they're on stage, they're like a live fireball, you know. They light it up. So at one time I used to be very fussy, like, why are these guys talking so much and all that? But then I realized the trend is changing. If you don't engage with them, they lose you. And especially what these big festivals and all of that stuff has kind of changed the dimensions of performance, because that's where a lot of talking, from our era, the talking was not much.
Exactly.
Ab jaake, if you don't really, if you're a DJ who is more versatile and all of that stuff, then you need to have that quality and ability of being good on the mic.
Specifically talking on being an open format DJ, how do you manage to stay on top of all the genres? Do you feel that it somewhere spoils your brand value by, being an open format DJ and not restricting yourself to one specific format?
Not at all. I know this fear is there in many DJs and they hate to accept it or they hate to show it. But bottom line, when you're a brand, you're a brand. Nobody bothers about anything, but you are a brand, you are well settled, popular, making money. That's all that matters.
We see that you're playing progressive one day, and then you're playing Bollywood the next day, and then you're doing like a retro set, So, and then there are takers for it. Of course, that comes with the years that you're spent in the industry. So, do you think to be a true excellent open format DJ, it does require a lot of time as well as connections?
It does. It does. There's no doubt about it. See, because if you start your career today, most of your time is going to be invested in the music that is now and that's going to come.
Correct.
But you have to equally invest time from music that was back. Because the trick sometimes that works is not just playing the most popular music from today, but going back in time and dropping some bombs. Because believe me, like in whatever genre you think, okay, all around the world, for the last 40 years, there are superb hits in all these things. So it's important for you to go back in time and have a great collection of those. Because see, playing new music, almost all of them are doing the newer music. Only difference might be, you might be playing a different mix, he might be playing a different mix, I might be playing a different mix. But when you go back in time and drop some bombs back to back, it kind of like it
evokes a feeling of nostalgia.
Nostalgia. And a great, something different, because otherwise everywhere you go, you're practically listening to the same thing, different mix.
You're right.
So that's what I mean. My advice to open format DJs would be invest a lot of time, and go and hear open format DJs
Hmm.
because you only learn.
You're right.
I learn. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, some of the most important, like super transitions and all that I learn is out of resident DJs.
Yeah.
When I go to play in some places, believe me, some of the resident DJs are like, you want to slap them because
Hmm.
they are just like, you have
It's
being
a copy paste formula.
being a
That's-
resident DJ is an art.
Absolutely.
And I think every DJ should definitely do 3 to 4 years of residency to survive longer in this business.
Right.
3 to 4 years is a very little time
Yeah.
I'm talking about,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
minimum because of today's patience
You're
levels.
right.
But
Yeah.
to be an open format DJ, it is very important to go to different gigs.
Yeah.
Listen to an open format DJ is fine,
Yeah.
but also go to specialty gigs because if you're going to be open format, you're going to play all those genres,
Right.
right?
And-
So it's important to know what is the most trendiest or what is the sound that you like to
Yeah.
keep it in your bag.
Yeah.
Because it's about how you play that tune.
Correct.
So it's important to learn a lot out of these genres. You cannot just go on Beatport and download the top 100 and just play it as bangers because
Right.
then it's like ready-made. You
Yeah.
need to know the right vibe to play that. You need to know your sound very well.
Yeah.
You need to know the track very well. That's why I make a lot of notes.
Okay.
I play through my software
Yeah.
and I write a lot of notes because it's not possible for me to remember that much today.
That's what I was coming to next. Like, how do you avoid music fatigue? Like, say, for example, like now you have downloaded, these new songs today, and then, you're compelled or, you have it in the back of your mind that, that these songs are definitely bangers. But, in the process, of course, you forget like a lot of tracks and, all this music fatigue. How do you steer clear of it?
I don't know. I would not want anyone to take anything that I take because this is my good and bad. I make so many playlists first of all that I myself am mindfucked sometimes. You know what I mean? And again, that's like due to my anxiousness and anxiety and trying to be, be well prepared kind of a thing. But I think over a period of time, you should start deleting because you know that even if you're DJing for 5 hours,
Yeah.
in those 5 hours, if you're going to play 6 or 7 different genres, also, you can only play that much.
Right. Right.
So after a certain time, you should start removing those mixes that you think you're never going to ever play
You're
again.
right.
Because something you played 5 years back today might not be the right sound.
Exactly.
Straight away delete.
Exactly.
And today you have the source to download it immediately whenever you want.
Or put it on a Google Drive or move
something.
it somewhere.
Yeah. So I also exchange a lot of music with a lot of my friends, in the business. Karthik is one of the guys who helps me a lot with.
Amazing.
Because I'm mostly busy.
Yeah.
It's just one call.
Right.
Blah, 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 tuck, tuck, tuck. Then I listen to it. I organize it the way, the energy and all of that kind of thing. So I think that's also very important is to exchange.
To have a good...
because sometimes you also want to somebody else's playlist to know, because
Absolutely.
it helps. And see, same song, there's a possibility I have found a good mix. But same song, there's a possibility someone else could have found a better mix. Because there are so many sites today to browse through and to get good music from. And officially, I'm not... But and it's not possible for you to throughout be on that platform. So I feel as friends, there can be a trade. Vicky, you browse this, you only take that. I will browse this, I will take it, and then we will exchange. So that way, I feel कि थोड़ा मेहनत भी बच जाता है.
Good. No, you're right. नहीं, especially जब आपको पता भी है कि सामने वाला का music taste अच्छा है, भाई मतलब.
हाँ. That's very important.
Correct.
You can't just take it from anybody.
Yeah.
You have to realize that the other person also
Samir plays the same genres.
And it takes a while. It takes a while for you to have that trust with the. You need to firstly know you are a good DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
That's when you will...
And you know your style, and what you deliver.
Yeah, but then there are so many DJs also who are not good DJs, but they think they are good DJs. Yeah. So, wo bhi hai. Anyway, let's... Yeah. That's off-camera topic.
Is there a genre that you used to hate playing, but have grown to love?
Genuinely, no.
Yeah.
I have always loved any genre, for that matter. There are some genres I don't understand in dance music. So I don't ghus out too much into
like
hard techno,
Yeah.
Like in psychedelic, there is something called high tech.
Okay.
I think it's like possibly 180, 200 people, tick, 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 tick,
Yeah.
you know. But there is a rage for it. There are people who like it.
Yeah.
But I don't. My ears are not tuned to.
Right.
So it's not that I hate it.
Yeah.
I just stay away from it. वो किसी और का खाना है, उसको
हाँ.
पसंद है,
हाँ.
तो आप खाओ.
Yeah.
मुझे जो पसंद है मैं खाऊंगा.
हाँ.
It's like that. But I like the fact that I'm open to different genres. I am not a biased kind of a person, and it helps me in my profession. Like
Right.
if I'm sitting in a different country and listening to the music, for me the melody and the rhythm matters.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter language kya hai.
Yeah.
And believe me, like Indian music from north to south, if you actually go to listen to some of the local stuff, you can compile something different out of your own. A lot of our music is being appreciated globally. Like people are taking bits and pieces of it and putting their speciality on top of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it comes out like, wow, like for us, like, oh, Afro, Bolly Afro, and some tech Afro, and like whatever it is, yeah.
Clem, thank you for all the wonderful insights. It's been a great chat. And like I said, this is going to be just part one of what we are coming up with. And through this short chat that I've had with you over the last hour and a half, I have realized that even though you're coming up with a 5-year plan, wherein you're planning to slow down a bit, what I still see in you is the passionate Clement, you know, who's been there like since day one when he got into DJing. And I think everything else will get streamlined. Everything else will follow a path. But this passion of yours that you have, I think will never subdue. And we want it to be that way because I think that plays a very big part in, you know, being who you are and crafting your personality. And we love you for that. So thank you for all the wonderful insights. And it's such a pleasure to have you on the Vic Fix.
Vic, genuinely, thank you so much. I don't do these many podcasts or interviews or anything like that. Not because like out of choice or anything. मेरे को कोई बात करने बुलाया तो मैं बिंदास चले जाऊँ. But I'm happy that you're doing something like this, and I'm also happy about me sharing anything that has helped me.
Yeah.
How much ever I say I'm going to slow down and stuff, if you ever meet me in person, I'm always still going to be there for anybody, you know, because I believe it has come to me, and the least I could do is at least help someone or guide someone or mentor someone. So I'm more thankful to you for choosing me to be a part of your podcast.
My pleasure. And to all the viewers watching this, in part 2, we are going to talk into more detail about the music school. We are going to go back into some of the earlier decades wherein DJ Clement defined some of the music in Bangalore and across India. So do stay tuned for that. Once again, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the Vic Fix.
Thank you, Ricky.